Hello everyone. Today is the last video in the series of Pancha Mahapurush Yoga that is on Mercury, and I'm going to talk about Bhadra Mahapurush Yoga. There's been a bit of delay in making this video, but then there's a lot more content and videos that I'm going to be making in the coming days around transits as well, particularly about Jupiter and Saturn's upcoming transit. So in this video, I'm going to talk about Bhadra Mahapurush Yoga that is formed by Mercury. Now, how is this yoga formed? When Mercury or Buddha, that is the prince of all grahas, is placed in a quadrant house or a Kendra house, either in its own sign or in the sign of exaltation. Mercury is in its own sign is considered to be in the sign of Gemini, and it is exalted in the sign of Virgo. Okay, um, but then Virgo is also its Mool Trikona sign. So for that ways, it is applicable as well. Um, Interesting facts are, before I perhaps talk about what Bhadra Mahapurush Yoga really means, um, this Mahapurush Yoga only applies for all the dual signs. That means Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Pisces. The only possibility of this yoga is being formed is only applicable for these ascendants. It cannot be formed for the fixed, it does not apply in the fixed signs or the movable signs in any of the other signs, because Mercury has a ruler of is ruler of one of the Kendra houses for these signs itself. And having said that, there is also a concept around Kendra Adipati dosha. Uh, while Mercury is, if it's placed in the Kendra sign, in its own or exaltation sign, that the Kendra Adipati dosha gets cancelled or nullified. So that's an interesting fact. Okay. It's an auspicious yoga because that's what Bhadra really stands for. It stands for being auspicious, blessings, upon this native. It is all about being prosperous, happy, friendly, kind, pleasant, skillful, since it's about Mercury. It also indicates someone to be fair and beautiful. Okay, a good or a gracious king-like nature, a very nice and or loyal spouse. Very kind-hearted. Um, it grants and gives great wealth in terms of knowledge and also in terms of money. That's real cash. Mercury is very much associated to cash. Such people are likely to live a fortunate life, are happy, and do well in a variety of things. Ancient texts also suggest that this yoga carries the blessings of Ganga, right? So um, that also means that such natives live a healthy life as well till the old age. It brings in welfare, it brings health, it makes the native fortunate, and of course, it brings prosperity as well. There are certain conditions, that should be applicable. Mercury should be in strength. Um, there's a very general, dictum or rule that is much applicable towards Mercury, because being the prince of all grahas, it is the one that gets, very easily influenced. And it is said that the more positive influence is there on Mercury, the better it is. I personally advise that if Mercury is placed alone, then it is not very much in strength, because it needs that support. It demands that support from other, and that needs to be a positive support as well, and not the malefic influence. So any support from Venus is considered quite auspicious. From Sun, and even from Jupiter in certain cases, because that's like the Guru and Shishya sort of coming together, and it's again an auspicious yoga. So if Mercury is conjoined or have benefic aspects or uh, combinations or conjunctions there, associations, then it is far better than being alone. Now, people born in Bhadra Mahapurush Yoga, it is also said that they will be strong or possess a naturally strong immunity. The text in Dr. B.V. Raman's book, More Than 300 Important Combinations, also suggests that they're likely to have a lion-like face. Okay, which also indicates that such natives can be, moody or lazy as well. They may love to sleep a lot or probably rest or relax, and then perhaps they would do things at their own pace or in their own way, just like the lion does. Okay. Um, in terms of Mercury is also the karak of friends and relatives, so such individuals are very helpful towards their relatives and towards their friends. Mercury is the karaka for intellect and intelligence and also management, particularly when this Mahapurush yoga, if it forms in the Lagna sign or the ascendant sign, it's quite auspicious. And if it receives specific presence, this is applicable for Gemini and Virgo ascendants. Uh, it makes such individuals very good management experts, particularly when it forms a connection with the Lagna. If Buddha makes a connection with the fourth house and it's in its own sign or in the sign of exaltation, so this will usually be applicable for Gemini ascendants if Mercury is in the fourth house in the sign of Virgo, or this will apply on Pisces ascendants because that's where the fourth house is ruled by Gemini sign. So for such natives, it grants good education, primary and secondary education, because that's what fourth house is also representative of, and it makes things in association related to fourth house are quite positive in terms of happiness and ensures a good childhood if there are some positive connections that this Mercury further makes, which gives it more strength. If the Mercury if Mercury is in the seventh house in its own sign, or in the sign of exaltation, or in Multicorn sign, either in Gemini or in the sign of Virgo, so this will apply for either uh, Sagittarius sign or the sign of Pisces, right? Because that's where it will have one of these signs as part of the as the seventh house, there. So in this condition, Mercury gives a young and a beautiful spouse, and at the same time very communicative spouse. And for this particular individual, they make great connection with the outer world. So they're likely to be very much influential people. So if this yoga is formed in the 10th house, it's quite auspicious because Mercury is also the primary significator of the 10th house. Now this will apply on two natives, I believe either the sign of Virgo or the sign of Sagittarius. Mercury would rule the 10th house for them. So in this case, it certainly makes the person a karma yogi, um, very successful when it comes to management principles, leadership, and being an effective communicator. Your actions, of course, what you speak and what you, how you demonstrate your skills matter a lot when Mercury is placed here. So yes, here are some interesting facts about Buddha. Mercury, that is the prince. But then in this yoga, I would prefer if Mercury is either conjoined with one of the benefics, or conjoined with one of the benefics of uh, you know your ascendant, right? Even if it is Mars as well, let's say for Sagittarius or Pisces ascendant, Mars becomes a good graha for these rashis, for these lagnas, um, or it is conjoined with Venus or Jupiter or receives an aspect. Um, it is very very beneficial, in these matters. Uh, but then if Mercury receives a negative aspect, or is under a Papkartari yoga, that means hemmed between the malefics on both sides in terms of where it's placed, or is devoid of strength, then this yoga is very weak and might not deliver those fruitful results. Um, the good part about Mahapurush yogas are that regardless of the dasha or bhukti you're running, such yogas are active throughout the life. Certain characteristics with regards to Mercury in terms of communication, intellect, management, the ability to connect with people, the ability to network with people, that exist with such individuals, and they are blessed with many of the characteristics of Mercury. Now, one of the drawback of such individuals are that they also get influenced very easily, or they perhaps um, so just like Mercury does things in a very fast manner. This is one of the fastest moving graha, so such people like to move at a fast pace as well. So that's something which one needs to be mindful of in terms of decision making, in terms of the pace, and in terms of getting influenced on the right things, because it can go the other way as well. So that is something which is a word of caution from me. So yes, I'd like to keep it very short and simple. This was about Buddha, Mercury, and the Bhadra Mahapurush Yoga. I will very soon be making a video on the Jupiter's current transit. It has moved into the sign of Pisces and how it will impact all ascendants. And in the coming days and weeks, I am also going to be making a video on Saturn and its upcoming transit in the sign of Aquarius, and also one video specifically on the double transit of Jupiter and Saturn, and what is that is going to get active, the sign in the house, and how it will impact each and every ascendant. So watch this space and my channel for more, and have a good day. Thank you.